Everybody, just in time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
And we're joined today by John and Willow with Milwaukee social media, plus Jeff Wagner is back. Here we go. Army Private Bradley was sentenced to 35 years in prison. He was convicted of leaking the largest amount of classified documents in American history. He was facing up to 90 years in prison, and now he'll be serving at most about a third of that time. Should his sentence have been tougher?
Well, I know you're dying to go, Jeff. You start.
Well, no, I think this is reasonable. The maximum penalty was potentially 90 years. The government prosecutors had asked for 60. He got 35. Now, that means he's eligible for parole after 12. He gets credit for 3 years' time served. I think this is pretty much an appropriate type of sentence for this thing. This is not a minor crime. This was a big deal, and he deserves to spend a boatload of time in prison, and I think this is about appropriate.
I actually think it's appropriate, too. I think that the fact that he'll only be 33 when he gets out.
Well, at least when he's eligible.
That's when, I'm
right.
sorry, 33 when he's eligible for the first time gives him time to start over. And he did apologize to the American people for what's that worth. He served his time well, and he was fairly brutally abused in the brig to get started. So I think all things considered, since a sentence must be given, that is the best, I guess, that could be hoped for. However, you know, the appeal has already been filed.
Is this the message, though, the United States wants to send, that you can do this? You can leak a treasure trove of classified material, and you can be walking the earth as a free man again as early as age 35?
Well, as early, but this is, I mean, still, it's a 35-year sentence. And what you have to keep in mind is that just because you're eligible for parole doesn't mean you're going to be paroled. I mean, Charles Manson has been eligible for parole for the last 30-plus years. He doesn't get paroled. So I think, you know, given the realities, I mean, this is potentially a pretty stiff sentence. I mean, it's not the death penalty, but he could be in there for a long time.
But some of the documents that he released, they said reportedly in the LA Times, showed up in Osama bin Laden's home. So, I mean,
it's a big deal.
I agree with you. Is this
the government tried
to
make the case, though, that he was aiding and abetting terrorists,
right, but they dropped that.
And they dropped that. That didn't happen.
Right. Well, they weren't able to prove that. And I guess in this case, it appears the judge did look at motivation, and his motivation was very personal. It was because he did what he did because he believed that the American people were being fooled. We can agree with that or not disagree with that, but he was very troubled by what he saw as the real motivation for the war. What I'm saying is that the judge took that into account. He did not feel he was aiding and abetting terrorism.
Yeah, I think this is okay. It's a sentence that has consequences and also has a deterrent value. I mean, this is a long time in a military prison, regardless of how you cut it.
All right, coming up next, Yahoo CEO Melissa Meyer.
More of What's Hot, and this is our viewer's choice topic of the day.
And we're joined today by John and Willow. You know her from social media here in Milwaukee. And Jeff Wagner, well, he's on the radio. More and more teens are waiting to get their driver's license. Some of them are turning, John Ann, to your precious social media to find their ride. Teens are hitchhiking on Twitter and Facebook. So how would you feel about your teenager using social media to find a ride?
Mortified. That would probably be the thing that caused me to actually chain him into the basement with no access to technology whatsoever. I'm tempted sometimes. I just know, you know, it's hard. But that would put me over the edge, for sure. So dangerous.
When you consider look, the internet's great, social media is wonderful, but when you consider the kooks and the perverts that are out there trolling for kids to begin with, now, here, let me give you a ride. Oh, who thinks that's a good idea? Yeah.
And the thing is you know, the examples that they cited in the articles that we were given were people getting rides from their friends, posting on Instagram, but I can't imagine that it would stay limited to that. And I had someone comment on my Facebook post about What's Hot Today who said when she was a teenager and a young woman in the early 70s, she used to hitch rides and she felt scared enough, but she could see the cars, see the people, see the license plates before she decided to get in the car. She stopped when she thought it got too weird. Yeah. Social media takes all of whatever that semblance of familiarity was away.
Okay, when I was in college, we had this bulletin board up, the Need a Ride, Take a Ride board.
So did we.
You could walk up to it. Is this just another version of that?
Well, no, because there, you're talking about other college kids. Okay, you know, you're going to California or something. This is the entire universe of good people, okay people, and creepy people that are out there. I mean, there's no nice way to say it.
Yeah, it's really terrifying.
Creepy college kids?
And what I thought was really interesting is that they're not using Facebook because young people are moving more and more away from Facebook. They're using Twitter some, but they're using Instagram. So kids
don't take the ride.
Yeah, and parents, if you want to know where your kids are, they're on Instagram now. Just telling you.
Okay, we're going to do
right.
our lightning round now, and though we do not have a clock or a buzzer
It
just
starts
yet,
now.
it starts now.
Yahoo's CEO Marissa Mayer's picture in the September issue of Vogue is causing some debate. I'm confused. Some women believe that the picture shows women can be smart and beautiful, but others believe it's a step backwards. What do you think this picture symbolizes?
My philosophy of life, it's a Jimmy Buffett song.
Okay.
I'm looking for a smart woman in a really short skirt. I'm saying go for it, gal.
Well, I don't know how many women wear short skirts.
No. Yeah, that was awful, and I know you're a better person than that.
What?
But here's what I
woman,
think.
really
I think
short
when Richard Branson stands in front of his spaceship, people say, "Wow, what a handsome, robust captain of industry."
Right.
No one criticizes him for being a bad leader as a man, and the fact that other women would criticize this woman for displaying what she enjoys and what she's good at because it is an art form, that is the worst kind of crabs in a bucket behavior I think I've ever seen, and I'm ashamed that they behave that way.
I love it, crabs in a bucket. You know, the thing that gets me is that why can't you have it? Why can't she have it both?
She's sure
beautiful
can.
and she's smart, and you know what? That's called haters. So they just need to take some Haterade and just drink up, because the woman looks fabulous, and she is also CEO.
And
Right.
she's rich. And she's rich, too. So
And you know what,
she's
even if
from
she
Warsaw.
wasn't rich or a CEO, it shouldn't make any
No.
difference. If she looks great in those shoes and she loves them, that is fine.
All you saw were the shoes, John.
I
the
love
outfit.
shoes.
Hey, guess what, guys?
What?
That's 90 seconds. The What's Hot discussion continues online. Find that page, tmj4.com/hot.
Well, coming up, storm